Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome to Everythin Yet Nothin. Here's a hillbilly in eyeshadow who's looking fabulous and talking about anything yet something. Get ready to chew on a blade of sweet grass and talk about a variety of LGBTQ topics to the lifestyle of a gay hillbilly. Watch out, folks. These hills don't just got eyes. They got themselves a vodcast. Now, here's T-Roy.
Hey, and welcome back to Everything Yet Nothing, where you never know what you're going to see, what you're going to get, what we're going to talk about, all that good stuff. Well, this is the second part of a saga of Ace O Hearts. So, anyways, fantabulous. If you didn't see last Thursday, rewind it and watch it again because it's well worth watching over and over and over again. And I gotta fix my screen. There you go. So it is stormy here. The wind is like blowing. It blew our skirting off. It blew our trash can over. I mean, this old lady, she was like little, real tiny. She was all walking to the Dollar Tree earlier. And she was just, it was everything for her to just stand up. And I was like, oh, girl, don't fall over. She was like, I think I'm about to blow away. I was like, well, it looks like it too. She was like a toothpick. I was like, oh, I feel for her. Because, my hair was blowing. It was just horrible. It was like a freaking hurricane. We never ever have a hurricane here. We live in the South, right?
Yeah.
He don't know. He's like on vacation or, where you at?
Hi everybody.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Are we on?
Yes.
When did this happen?
Like an hour ago.
Oh. Well, it's been nice seeing everybody. Thank you for coming.
See you later. Bleep. Only if it was that good. Not that I would bleep you. I would just bleep a lot of other people in this world. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, honey. Look at me strange. Bleep. You're gone. Bleeped you. So, had a really good show on the radio show this last Tuesday. We had, what was it? Fluffy, which is a rock. Fuzzy, not fluffy. Sorry, fuzzy. Right? Fuzzy. I am so horrible. Like, he's supposed to be knowing everything, and you don't know. I'm all like, is this right? You know how husbands are. Gotta love them. So, we did go to Eureka. I think we talked about it a little bit last time.
We said we were going to.
Yeah, so we went to Eureka. It was like Saturday, came back Sunday, we spent the night. Ended up at a friend's house for the night, partying it up. Yay. And then, oh my God, we got to see some drag queens. Oh, honey, I dressed up. If I had a picture on here, I'd show you, but that's next Thursday. Oh, I'm getting the radio shows all messed up. Next Thursday, we will give you a sneak peek throughout the next, say, 3 weeks. And then we're going to have like a LGB going, all the trips that we've ever taken to Eureka. And I'm going to try to get some of the guests to come on that has went with us because we love sharing Eureka with others. Like, it is a very welcoming, very warm, very exciting, just place to go. It's like 35 minutes from here, and it feels like it's hours away. That's why I like going. Oh, even though it's not.
Oh my God, there's comments and people told me to wake up. I'm awake, everybody.
That's where we got to meet Ace O Hearts. And it was so fabulous. Hi, Robert. Hi, Shanae. Hello. Good evening, girlfriend. Donna, honey, I love you. Yes.
I'm awake now, Robert.
Yeah. It's not sleeping. I'm just saying that.
That's true. Shouldn't wear a skirt in the wind. Get off of here.
So, anyways,
Let go.
we are no, because I want to do this too.
Oh, to Chanel.
So we're gonna pull out Ace of Hearts right now because I can. Hey,
Hello,
baby!
everybody.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
God, boyfriend! Look at you.
I know. I was thinking we need to do one of those TikTok things where it's like, boom, you know.
I know, right? That's next Thursday.
Yeah, we'll just have to do it next Thursday. But yeah, next Thursday I'll have my partner on.
How in
With
the
me.
world did you do all that?
Do all the what?
Like all your eye makeup, like the whole black and
Very
white.
carefully.
Did you
I
have
got
like
my little heart rhinestones. Those are kind of my iconic. My heart rhinestones and my eyebrows are kind of like my trademarks.
Oh wow.
And then you got my heart
Hey,
earrings, and
that
my heart
is
scarf, and my
nice.
heart coat.
Love it.
But you guys met me when I had this hat on, this hat and the wig.
Yep.
Yes, and I love it. Like
Thanks.
your everything is what caught my eye.
Well, thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you guys for having me on
so-
another week.
Huh?
I said thank you for having me on another week of the 3-week series.
I know. I can't wait for the next one. We
Were
might
you able
just.
to upload that last photo that I sent you on Facebook just a while ago?
I will be able to.
He
Okay.
will be able to. So,
Okay.
while we're doing this, he will do that.
Oh, the link.
Chanel says you look fabulous. You should have watched the link I sent you, T-Roy.
Oh, it was just me on live. I went live before the show doing my makeup and everything.
Ah, well then I'm gonna have to watch it because I'm gonna learn how to do all that. Like,
Yeah, I left it on there. It started from my eyebrows being glued out and everything. So yeah, if you guys are on here and you want to see how I got into all this, you can also go to my Facebook. I did live and I left it on there. It should be there for like 30 days. And you can see how I transformed. Yeah.
And it's ASO Hearts on Facebook as well.
Yes. The same as in the link, correct.
Okay, cool. So tell us some about how you become who you are today. We talked last Thursday of you getting to where you are today. So
yeah,
so
if you want to put that first picture up that I sent you guys,
the
very first one of me in the little hearts dress thing with the terrible makeup.
1 second.
Okay.
There we go. I had to get the last picture in first.
There it is. I found it.
You said the first picture?
It should be in like a short dress with like hearts on the middle of it or something. Brown hair.
Maybe.
That one. Yeah. So that was my first time ever in drag. That was the story I told last week about they asked me to host at college the Grace State Alliance show, and I was like, I'm not dressing up as a girl and people know who I am. And they were like, we'll just do some they were like, well, just see how you do. And I was like, if I can do my makeup and I don't look like myself, and believe me, I looked hideous. I did not look like myself. That is for sure. And so I came out in this outfit, which I feel like is kind of foreshadowing because it's got hearts all over it.
I know, it was perfect one.
Right. And it was actually, so the fun thing is I was like, I'm not going to spend a ton of money on it. And I happened to go to the thrift store that was in town, and that dress was there, and it was a size like large. And I was like, oh, this is great Halloween costume stuff. So I dressed up in that and hosted the show, and nobody knew who I was until I got in this outfit that had like black angel wings and then this halo with it. And my halo fell off while I was in the middle of the show, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a fallen angel. And like, it was super funny. I went backstage to tell the people backstage, and I changed my voice back to my regular voice, and people were like, oh my gosh, that's you. And I was like, well, and word spread. And so the next year I hosted, and the following year I was at Disney, so I wasn't able to host. But that was my first time ever attempting drag, before I knew that I wanted to be a drag queen, there should be one on there of me as Ursula.
Yes.
That
I
one,
love it.
yeah. So that picture is actually one of my first. I think it was my second show ever in drag. Yeah, it was a villains challenge, and so my friend at the time did my makeup and helped me work on it, and then we got that hair from the Party City. It was supposed to be like a white. It was in like the section for like dressing up for what is it, like being a fan in the crowd, and so we sprayed purple into it. And then a friend at the time, I hadn't officially like gotten really good at sewing, and that was a steel bone corset. And so one of my friends had dressed up for Halloween as Ursula, and I was like, "Can I use your tentacles?" And I went in there and won that, and it just kind of expanded my career. And so as I kind of started growing with it, I enjoyed it. But I felt like when I originally started getting into drag, I got into it because there's a chance to perform, there's a chance to rebel and act super, flamboyant and just kind of be part of the community. And then I started, you get in there and you do that, but then you start also learning about, like what drag really is about, where drag came from, like we talked about, the first Pride was a riot. It was, there were drag queens, there was, there were trans people leading the fight for equality. Yep. And so it started to become something, that was even more than just performing. And I loved that so much, but I felt like I was a better advocate than drag queen. And so as I started to kind of expand what I wanted to do with my drag, I kind of started looking at it as like, I really don't want to wear the pointed heels. They hurt. I really don't want to tuck. That hurts. I really, and so it became more of to me, it came more like I was a burden to people just because I really, that just wasn't my thing. And I'm a very big supporter of, if you're not going to go all in with it and you're not going to be able to respect it for everything that it's worth, then you need to take a step back and reevaluate if that's where you need to be. And so for me, I was like, at the time they were having competitions and they had new performers coming in, and not that necessarily I was taking up space from performers, but I feel like there were a lot of other people that could be there that were really passionate about it. And so I kind of reevaluated and took a step back. And I actually didn't get to compete the Diva competition because one of my family members got really sick at the time, and I had to kind of step back and was taking care of family. And that gave me really time to kind of reevaluate and everything. Yeah. And so I kind of came at it from more of like I'm going to go to events and support. Well, when my final show was the last big diva competition, and that's the one with me dressed as Wonder Woman. And so that was my last time in full drag.
Oh wow.
And that was the last time full drag. My drag mother, who's still my drag mother, Nikki Savage, shout out to you, love you so much. She helped me really get into that more natural look, because I felt like I'd always kind of, I'd always created more of a drag queen look, and I really wanted to know what it would be like to have natural style drag. And so she got me into that. But I think my favorite look of all time that I got to do as a drag queen was a mentor at the time put me into drag. And there's one with really big hair that I sent you guys. They put me into drag with that. And that was probably the most I ever felt like a full-on drag queen. Yep, there's me in full-on drag. Nice. A friend of mine actually helped me get into all of that. Let me borrow the wig, because at the time I didn't have the budget to afford that. I got that dress at a convenience store, a ladies' convenience store, and I was like, "Oh, form-fitting, yes." And people, it was really funny because I'd never gone out and heard, like, somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, you look beat, girl. You look beat," and I was like, that's so, like, in my mind, I was like, that's so insulting. They're telling me I got beat up. and so I told one of my friends, I was like, that girl's really rude. And they're like, oh my gosh, she's like one of the most supportive queens. What do you mean? I was like, she told me I look like I got beat. And she's like, no, she's telling you you're beat. That means that you look good. That means that you look like totally fish. And I was like,
I love it.
Oh, okay. Many of the blonde moments in my life have come from like misunderstanding of like terms and things. It was one of those things that like my whole life I've had to like I feel like I've always been, because I grew up around older adults and stuff, I've always had more of a mature perspective. And so, did somebody comment? Did I miss a comment?
Yeah. Said Ace, you and Wonder Woman 2. Oh my God, I am howling.
Yeah, okay, so funny fact about that. So that Wonder Woman picture actually got me a job for a singogram. I got hired in to embarrass this guy by his wife on his birthday, and they went in and I did a Wonder Woman act to I Need a Hero and gave him a lap dance in the middle of this restaurant that's not even like, they don't do any drag shows or anything. And this guy was so embarrassed and turned bright red that he promised his wife, he's like, I will never upset you again as long as you never let or have somebody do that again. But he was such a good sport. It was the best. But I sent that picture and then to show them kind of what I could look like in full makeup. And the lady was like, let's do it. And so I went in and did it. And I got a lot of other jobs. I got to embarrass the head coach of the Arkansas baseball team as a grandma and come on and embarrass him. And so drag kind of understanding drag and developing the drag really let me kind of explore and have fun with other aspects, which I mean, one thing that I've heard a lot of queens say, is sometimes drag isn't something you take too seriously. Well, I think that depends on what drag has played in your life, because sometimes drag has saved a lot of people's life. I mean, it's become, I mean, if you look even like whenever they did We Are Here, that guy that was the preacher, they're like, this isn't funny. Like this saved our life. Like Six was on there with Eureka. Yeah. And they were talking about, which is crazy because when we saw Six was at Miss Continental, because Six was walking around with Eureka and actually walked up when I was wearing that coat that you showed me with the fur arms, and asked if she asked if she could buy it off of me, and I was like, this is my first time wearing it. I'm glad you appreciate it, but I'm not ready to sell it yet. But I was like, Six wanted to buy my coat, right? I was all about that. I think call her Six, I think is what her name is on Instagram, but she's incredible. And if you ever get a chance to look her up, those of you guys that are watching, or even you guys, if you get a chance to look her up, she has such a story of redemption, because she was homeless for years before she ever got into doing drag, and drag did save her life. And to this day, she's she's award winning. She won some awards for her makeup on We Are Here this last year and all kinds of stuff. But and drag, I think in a sense, drag kind of saved my life, because I've had a lot of things in my life that have been like, I'm good at unicycling, I'm good at ventriloquism, I'm good at juggling, I'm a jack of all trades, but it was always like I had to find the perfect niche for those things to fit. And once I was able to create this persona, I was able to, you need to try and bring a female Yeti in a bikini. There's some of them on TikTok that are there. That'd be fun though.
Yes, I follow one.
I was able to kind of bring everything together. I have a lot of things like right now, I got asked on my live earlier. Chanel had asked me, what my favorite music was and what things I like to perform. And, when I originally got into it, it was the hard rock and roll, it was the 80s rock, Kiss was my first concert. It was my mom's first concert back in the day. And so it was kind of something we bonded over. And, the Eagles and Journey and all that kind of stuff. I grew up on that. Yes. But I feel like as time has progressed, vocally, I came from musical theater, and rock and roll just doesn't fit my vocal. I mean, I grew up in choir and musical theater. And so I've recently discovered, as I've kind of gone back and started doing more voice lessons and playing with my voice, that I really have a fascination with like jazz and like Tony Bennett and that kind of stuff. And I'm actually singing the jazz Tony Bennett's jazz version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow at a charity event on the 16th. That's the one I told you guys about last week. Yes. The charity event. You guys are coming to that, right?
We're gonna try to.
Maybe. Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, with the cost of gas nowadays, I don't like it's insane.
No, I'm like, are you kidding me?
It is insane. But I'm opening the show with a jazz version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Tony Bennett. Nice. And then I'm closing the show potentially with Feeling Good by Michael Bublé. And I've just really started like kind of exploring that kind of my voice. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things you can play with. and it's really allowed me to kind of open up, because I was a singer, and then I kind of stopped for several years just because I didn't really find a way to like get things composed to fit my voice, and trying to sound like a lot of celebrities. I grew up with that, but I've kind of found a love for my voice again. And so in my shows, that's kind of a new thing, is like I'll call when venues hire me, and I'm like, okay, can I sing live? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to make some adjustments. But I've started growing a real passion for singing live, even at the drag events, because I feel like it gives me a chance to tell the story my way.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to retell somebody else's story with a look and stuff, which is totally cool. Some people are really, really good at that. It's
Right.
just, I feel like I want to be able to take it a step further and play with, what these artists have developed and given us.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing with makeup. If I encourage anybody that does drag or gets to listen to this, people ask me all the time, how did you do that? Or how did you get good at that? Or how did you do this? And for me, it's been, playing with makeup. Whenever I first got with my drag mother, and she kind of pulled me under my wing, she's like, I will work with you. But I need to see that you're working on it too. I need to see that you're adapting it, because I feel like when I first started, I think when anybody first starts, they start trying to look like somebody that they admire,
Right.
which is great. But there's a point where, as an artist, the way to stand out, or the way to be, something that you can be proud of in yourself, is by being able to feel like you fully put yourself into that art. And for me, mine was kind of finding my tokens. I mean, I have several people that I admire in the drag community. I love Landon Sider. He's a drag king. And then I also love Axel Andrews, who has come up here, and he's very known for having like a very chiseled beard and spiky eyebrows and stuff. And he's very much into like the punk and soft rock and that kind of stuff, and even rave music and everything. And for me, I was like, okay, how can I still have that drag effect, or have that persona effect, and have that level of elegance, but still have a piece of me. And so through finding my voice, which I think really helped with developing a name, and then from there being like, okay, hearts are my shtick, but to not overindulge in hearts, what do I want to do? I really like my reds and blacks. Those really kind of fit with me. And then I was like, okay, people want logos, and looks and stuff. And I've seen a lot of logos that drag people have done. And some of them, I'm like, if I saw that on a cartoon, I would know that was you. And so, like, for me, I really wanted to have a look that if it became cartoonified, which if you go on my Facebook or my Instagram, my cover photo there is my
Or if
logo.
you just check out the ad that this was posted on.
Say what?
I said, or if you just check out the ad this was posted on.
Oh, yes, check out that ad. That's true, yeah. If you click on that would be perfect. And it has, in my logo, it's my big sequin hat and everything. But it I think that's a huge deal, because it still looks like me. And that was my biggest thing, is like when you see a logo of somebody and then you meet them, you're like, okay, it has my iconic eyebrows, which have become kind of a big trademark for me. It has my rhinestone hearts, which are popular. And then of course it has my big ruffle coat, which is right over here. You can kind of see in the actual bottom of the logo. And I was like, when my my incredible drag son was kind enough to, when he does my photos for my photo shoots, and Lucas Alexander photography is his thing, and he's incredible. But he can do anything from taking my photos to creating a logo. And we actually and we'll talk more about this next month, because that's when it debuts, but I'll give hint. I do have a full merch line coming out that will be available as of May. It will be t-shirts, hats, potentially, if budget allows, we'll have like crop tops and tanks and stuff like that. But for right now, it'll have 2 different of my logos on it, and then a special logo for hats to be embroidered.
That's awesome.
But those will be launched. I have my fundraising show for National Showman to go to Florida in May. The last Saturday of May is that, and that's where my merch line will debut. So if you guys can make it, whoever can make it out in May to the fundraising show, it's the last Saturday. You'll be able to purchase merch there. We have a whole slew of performers that are coming out to support, which is absolutely incredible, and I'm so touched to know that there's people out there that are able to support my mission and understand that I'm here to support them. And I think that's ultimately why I love the drag community so much. You hear a lot about the drama in drag community, which is always relevant in there, but I think it's kind of like siblings. Like you guys fight or you have your tiffs, but the minute that somebody crosses a line that they shouldn't be, they're right there to support you. And I think that's a huge, we have brotherhood, sisterhoods. We have, we even have, non-binary hoods, which I think is huge. But I think ultimately, I know that I split those up, but I think ultimately we come together to form a community that would defend somebody, and fight tooth and nail to protect them. And I tell people all the time, I'm a persona that's supportive, but the minute that somebody crosses a line, that persona is still there, but it goes into protection mode. Like, I feel like if you've ever seen Blindside, I'm like the son in Blindside that she kind of adopts, you have that whenever they get in the car crash and he like moms her. I think that's like me, I get in that moment of like caring for people so much. But I've had to learn in life to take for yourself as well, like have those moments to give back to yourself, or to understand that it's okay to take time or be like, I can't do this, or I need a break. And I think that that's what kind of my break between being a queen and developing into like what I call the drag genie, because I think that it allowed me to step back, evaluate what I loved about the art form, and develop that. And I love that the drag community is really expanding into understanding that it's an art. When you guys go out as the bearded queens, I think that's a huge statement, because at the end of the day, you are loving life, presenting that way. And I think that that's what we need to start really looking at, as a community, is like, are they happy dressed that way? Or are they happy, as their authentic self? I have some friends right now that are going through transition, and, you can see the aggravation because they just really want everything to happen right away. And you're like, understand that I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to see you how you want me to see you. Yes, the rest of the world will have to catch up. But at the end of the day, the people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. Exactly. And I love that Dr. Seuss quote. I carry that with me, all the time. But I think that sharing a journey with somebody, you learn so much. And I had a wonderful, she is so near and dear to me. She was my college roommate. And she is absolutely incredible. And she was one of those people that really, allowed me to grow to understand, the journey, and understand, that she's truly always been there, even through transition. I think that that's what, with parents with queer children, or with kids who transition, I think that's the thing is that they're so quick to be fearful of what they're going to lose, or they think they're going to lose, when in reality, they're gaining so much more because they'll see the happiness of that person, radiate. And I've seen so many people that as they have transitioned to who they've always authentically been, and then they can see it in the mirror, or they can see, they see the world sees it, and I think it's so beautiful. And even thinking back to like seeing those moments, even though they don't say anything, you can just see the confidence or the space. And that's what we've really developed. I think even with my show that I host every month, is that we don't put up with disrespect of anything. Let's see. I want to have drag queens and kings at my funeral. I want them to do songs from Rocky Horror. We can make it happen. My actual first exposure to drag queens was Kinky Boots. I saw Kinky Boots whenever it came up here on Broadway. It just segued me because I was like, oh, show, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Wait, Kiki Boots.
Right.
But I think that was my first exposure, and that's the moment where I realized, like, I loved the music, but it told me a story, and I was able to comfortably sit around people that may not have understood drag, but they were laughing, and I was like, oh, okay, we can laugh together.
Right.
You'll enjoy this show. But the underlying message, I feel like, has affected so many. You know, when
Right.
Harvey Fierstein and Cyndi Lauper worked on that show, I think that it was a huge step that Broadway hadn't really taken. I mean, there's been all kinds, you know, Broadway's always had like a queer, you know, persona, but I think it was the first time that it was so outwardly, you know, expressive. Don't get me wrong, you have La Cage aux Folles, which is the musical version of Birdcage. But and it has that song in it that I was telling you that you need to sing, that I Am What I Am. The La Cage aux Folles does. I think it's such a powerful piece. I think one of the best presentations I've ever seen was Ginger Minge did it on an award show, and I think it was in memory of Harvey Fierstein. But I think that, and I think Harvey Fierstein may have played on Broadway. I don't for a fact. Don't quote me on that. But I think that that's where everything is going. I mean, we have to start looking at the fact that, you know, yes, we can donate money and we can, you know, promote things, but I feel like there's so much in the power of a pen to ink, you know, and the fact that this Florida governor has signed this bill that now is not allowing, you know, certain things to be talked about in relation to sexuality and queerness and things in the drag community or in the schools, is a huge step in the wrong direction. And I feel like we're backpedaling. And as advocates, yes, I'm not in Florida right now, but some future plans may make it where I am in Florida for a little while. And you can best bet while I'm down there, I'm going to represent, because I think no, I'm not a huge presence that's known all over the place, but people will not forget that I was an advocate while I'm there.
Exactly.
And I think that, you know, the one thing that you guys mentioned last time, which I think was a huge like comment that I love, and Kevin's the one that said it, but is that, you know, what we do doesn't affect you in any way in your direct life. If we get married, well, how does it affect you? You know, you're not in the marriage, you're not in the household, you're not contributing. And then I also, one of my favorite ones, and I think it was Billy Porter that said this, but they're like, if you're not helping me pay the bills, then your opinion really don't matter.
Exactly.
You know,
and
it's true. I mean, with the world that we're in right now, or in general, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, if you're not contributing to keeping my lights on, if you're not contributing to my, you know, and even if you are, if you're not gonna be supportive, I go elsewhere, you know, like bye. And so, you know, I think that there's a lot of, let's see, I have cancer ACE, and I was given 5 years, and I can't get it to go in remission in 2 weeks with this stem. So if you don't see me around in the next few weeks, I'm still in the hospital. Oh, well, much love to you. We're sending positive and healing vibes as much as we can.
Totally thinking of you, Chanel. I got this, baby.
Then get it.
What?
We're arguing over who gets to push the buttons.
Oh.
I got this fancy little thing right here.
And I got the computer.
Oh, yeah. I did share a picture with you guys the first time I got into ACE. It was a test picture. The first time I got into ACE is the little spiky haired one with the sequin coat.
Yes.
Oh. I get you raw hair.
Yeah. This one was the first time that I got into ACE and was just playing with makeup before my and I like side by side. I definitely was not as clean and polished. The hairspray is on my forehead. There was supposed to be the red hairspray in my hair. My eyebrows definitely were not even, they weren't twins, weren't sisters. I think they were long lost cousins. I was going with more of the goatee stuff. I really had kind of, you know, I felt like I took my influences and I tried to put out there the best I could. And for what it was when I first started, it was something that, but I look back on and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've come a ways. And I can only chalk that up to, thanking people who have mentored me along the way. And like I said, my drag mother. Now, this was from my first show. This is what I looked like in my first show. I definitely had kind of played a little bit more with makeup. Contouring was still, working. My brows definitely were a thing. I don't know if I would have done the red lip, but I definitely walked in and made a statement. This outfit I wore and did Somebody to Love by Queen. And it was a showstopper, and that actually was a huge cover photo for me for a long time, or even on posters. I think my one thing that I was so picky about, because I made that full outfit, but that hair was done by one of my dear friends, and I was really big on it being a heart pompadour, which it totally did, but I wore it so many times that it's now sitting up up there, and I'm like, I have to figure out how to get it back to the way it was, because the person that normally who styled that is now traveling for film and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I have to get my heart hair back. I love that pompadour. But yeah, that second photo, it was probably one of my most proudest moments, because it was I'd finished my first outfit. I had done my first, hair thing. It was a huge hit. Let's see, look at that baby face. Yeah, she was telling me earlier, she was telling me, she's like, I would have thought you were, with that baby face, I would have thought you were drag queen, with all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's why the beard really, helps too. But yeah, it was more along the lines of, I grew the beard out for a short film I was working on. And it may potentially get pitched to Hulu and Netflix, which is really cool, but that's another story for another time. Maybe I'll talk about that next week for future things. But I grew the beard out for that. And then my partner was like, I like your beard. And I was like, oh, you do? Okay. I was like, well, we're going to have to make drag work with a beard then. And it just became a thing. But I'd worked in a job previously, even whenever that picture was taken, where I worked in a lot of entertainment where I had to have a clean shaved face, because I played a lot of younger characters, so to referring to my baby face now, that saved me a lot in industry. But the roles that I've wanted to play have required me to be older and everything, so the beard kind of helps with that. And then I like the idea that it like really cuts off my cheekbones and everything, so it's really lended a lot to drag. But it doesn't mean that it takes less time to do makeup. That's the only thing. I feel like I have to be more precise because of the sharp edges and everything. But I definitely, goals wise, I feel like with the vibe that I have, I give a lot of like old Hollywood vibes kind of thing. I feel like that's kind of where it fits, or like more like Vegas vibes, Vegas showman vibes. Which I think is why when I went up for the showman competitions, I was so intrigued by it, because it was very showy, but they've really expanded the oh goodness, what is it? The spectrum of what you can do. Visually, originally when it started out, it was more like carnival, and it was a lot bigger. And then slowly but surely, it kind of grew into, what's your version of a showman? And I feel like there's been all kinds of different versions of showman represented, but I feel like I have a clear, precise, like, I'm a Vegas showman. Like, that's what I am. And even what I'm taking and presenting, I think, is very much, Vegas showman. Excuse me. But it's definitely become a passion for me, because I feel like it's kind of a stepping stone to where I want to be in life. And I think that that's something, as drag artists, or as artists in general, is we're always looking for that stepping stone. And of course, the goal is to one day have my own show along with other entertainers in Branson that is queer friendly. I think that would be a huge step in the right direction. Mainly because I feel like the one thing is people are so afraid of it in places like Branson and stuff, because they don't see enough of it, and they don't realize that we mean no harm. We're just human beings.
Right. They don't understand it. They've never really been around it, or, even seen it, I'm sure. So, yeah.
But it's opened a lot of doors with you. I mean, Tiora, people knowing that you are, it's opened so many conversations and stuff.
Yeah, it really has. And it's changing in Branson tremendously. I've been around here all my life. And the more people like myself come down, put themselves out there, and show that, not every LGBTQ has an issue or, whatever. We're not all the same. We're
Right.
different, just like heterosexuals and
Right.
everybody else, And I think me doing what I'm doing is going to help individuals like yourself and others to come down in here and actually put on a really good show and be respectful and honorable and all that good stuff.
Well, and one thing that I gotta say about this too is like, you think about it, and yes, a lot of what we've seen publicized and things like that about Branson is very religious or conservative,
Yes.
but look at half the costumes these people are wearing. They're some of the most flamboyant costumes.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yes.
it's like, yes, if you look at me, you're gonna be like, oh, he must be queer
Right.
because this
Right.
is what. But ultimately, I feel like talent outshadows it. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
it does.
and do you like the entertainment? Cool. Keep your mouth shut and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. I mean, they don't like the fact of, well, if you don't say anything, then you are just the same as everybody else.
Right.
And they don't like the whole, kind of like myself, individuals don't. Not all of them, but some of them are like, oh my God, look at him kind of thing. But I get a lot of, are you like a talent, actor down in here, or a singer, or performer, or just that right there? And I'm all
and you're like, all of it. I'm all of it.
I'm like, all of it, baby. All of it.
You're like, somewhere over the rainbow they found me, honey.
And I usually
my
do. Yeah.
So in Eureka, we were at the Rowdy Beaver, and this bunch of biker people from Springfield come up, and we're at this table. They come up to sit at the space beside us, and then T-Roy's going to go up there and he sings "Say Something," and so the music starts playing, and you hear these women, oh God, here everyone's going to start drinking, or everyone's going to start crying in the bar. We've already been drinking, now you're going to get sad. And then this other girl's like, couples dance, get your partner, or couples skate, get your partner. Yeah. And then he starts singing, and they all shut the fuck up.
They're all
just like, and then they come to the table after he's done. He's like, oh my God, that song, I didn't think it was going to be good. And oh my God, blah, blah, and just going on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly. And, they didn't. And if they did, I didn't know anything about it, But whenever I did what I did, it literally opened their eyes and possibly changed their minds.
Right.
Well, it did change their mind.
They were like, confidence.
That's true.
They're like,
confidence
oh God, here
is
comes
everything too. I think the idea of like walking up there and being like, you can giggle and laugh, but watch this.
Exactly. I'm like, come on. Yeah. I am
not
that.
the bitch you're wanting to mess with.
Yeah. That's the ones
girl,
I see.
you look, that whole crew, you girls look gorgeous.
Oh my God.
I'm still tickled by that urinal picture though with the butt cheeks.
Oh God.
I was screaming.
Oh, that's Ghetto Tacky. She had a blast with that ass.
Yeah, is Tim on here? Is Tacky Tina on here tonight?
She was.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, you got a whole crew.
Here?
I was so wishing that I'd been able to be down there. If I hadn't been on set, I would have been.
Me too.
Oh,
but next year,
Chanel.
Kev, we are singing the other night, and you were singing the other night, and I loved it. Oh, Kevin, you sing too?
Not very well.
Yes, he does.
What do you sing? What style?
Oh, I sing a little bit of 90s rock.
Yeah.
Get it.
Country.
Some country.
Hey,
so that's why he went live. As a matter of fact, we were at this local bar, and Charlie Pride's grandson was doing a little show, and then he did karaoke and stuff there too. And I sang Cumbersome by Seven Mary 3. And then my second one was Rodeo by Garth Brooks. And so he made this big deal about it. Put this cowboy hat on me, and I was like, babe, take a picture of me with this cowboy hat. He goes live, and
I love it. He's like, babe, don't go live. I'm like, I won't, honey.
Like, hey, world, check out what we're doing. Are you live? Never.
The last time he did that, I sang Gods and Monsters by Lana Del Rey.
Oh, my God.
And if I've been drinking a little bit,
he makes love to
I feel like I'm sexy.
to the mic stand. You know.
There's a level of confidence that comes with drinking sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I see some people that
We
come
take
in, they're
over.
like reserved
I'm
at the bar, and all of a sudden, like halfway through the show, they're like, "Girl, look at me!"
Right?
I
And they're
can
probably
twerk,
the
and everybody's
quietest
like,
one as they enter the bar.
say what?
They're probably the quietest one
Yes.
that enters the bar.
They're filling
that
up the
does that.
crowd,
Like,
and they're like, "I'm about to act a fool."
right.
Oh, another we were there at the drag show with the Rowdy Beaver. This one, and she was pretty. Come out and she's like dancing, and you know how you guys do when you want to dance. You want an audience member to participate. Well, she tries that with me. I'm a wallflower. Like,
Oh yeah,
I haven't done that shit in 20 years.
he is stuck.
And so I was like, and I'm like.
And I'm all like, hey, go dance. Go dance.
I was
Can you
like
get there
a
and
Fury
dance?
headline. I was like, girl,
Only
you're not
if
going to get that here.
Only if she would have came to me, but she didn't. So.
It's
Do you
the
know who it was?
No.
Yeah, the drag queen that was performing there.
Yes, great. Totally know who that is. Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, I saw a lot of people. I had some other friends that went down, and really enjoyed themselves. I'm like, next year, but I'm intrigued because Pride's happening here in June. But I think that I don't know. I may end up being on a mini adventure during that time. But we'll have to wait till next week to talk about it. But the other thing too is you mentioned country, and actually, this month's theme at my show is cowgirls and cowboys, and it's all country.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
like
it's
it.
gonna be legit. We have Mr. Continental that's gonna be performing in my show.
Oh, nice.
We have Mr. Arkansas Continental, I should say. Mr. Arkansas Continental. Who you guys got to see crowned.
Thank you.
Yes.
Did you guys go to the after party?
No, I had to work the next day.
You're like, I wish. We have let's see, Mr. Continental, so that's Holland. We have Taylor Madison Monroe from locally. She'll be in the show.
Oh, nice.
Probably doing some of her impersonations. Doing Fancy and potentially another Let's Go Girls, and then we have my drag son will be making his official first big debut
Nice.
at the show, and then we have oh my goodness, who else do we have that is in there that's absolutely incredible? Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. But I'm like, I put the pressure on myself to think of all the people that are in the show, but it's gonna be an incredible one. I'm singing live. I'm singing some country live, so that should be fun. I told one of my friends, I was like, I'm gonna get up there and sing me some "God Bless the Broken Road."
Yes.
I set out on a narrow way many years ago. Oh,
I love that song.
I love that song.
Right. I may end up doing it. I don't know yet. But I know we got to get somebody. I was telling Holland, I was like, you need to get out there and do some save a horse, ride a cowboy. That'll make you some tips.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you save a horse and there's a cowboy there.
I was just going to say swimwear if he just goes into swimwear and does it.
True. That's a good idea.
Oh, I know who else is doing it. The owner of the facilities, there's a gay couple of husbands that own the place, and one of the husbands used to be a drag queen in Dallas, Trixie Starr, and is she's making her Arkansas debut here at her own location, which is going to be super epic.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
it's going to be super cool. We got a really, really good cast. Where I'm really trying to diversify it, but even with my and then like I said, May is going to be my my what do you call it? Fundraising show. I hate calling it fundraising show. It's a benefit show. But it's going to be called Life is a Cabaret.
Nice.
I have some dear friends that are coming in. Some are going to sing and drag. Some will do burlesque and drag. Some obviously.
See, that's what I want in Branson is burlesque.
Yes.
But the tasteful burlesque.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, they tried it the steampunk.
The
And it
historic
was in your
burlesque.
face, kind of nasty
Yeah.
burlesque.
Yeah.
The historic style burlesque, the very like 40s kind of burlesque.
Yeah.
Very much like the what do you call it? The gangster club burlesque, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much
Absolutely.
what everybody thinks the flappers are, what
Gangsta.
everybody dressed, but actually they were very much burlesque people. Everybody's like 20s flappers, and I was like, no, the flappers worked in the speakeasies. That's not how the ladies all dressed.
Right?
Yes.
Like, it's just, which again, it drove me crazy because owning a costume shop and people would come in and they'd be like, I want to dress 20s, and they're like show them these different looks, and they're like, oh, look, the flappers, the true 20s, and I'm like, no, I just showed you vintage 20s clothing. That's if you don't look like you worked in a saloon or you worked in a speakeasy, then yeah, wear that. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you think everybody walked around in flapper dresses back in the 40s and 20s?
With the headpieces. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you think people walk down the street like that? Mm-mm. No.
No.
It's definitely,
And all that jazz.
It's interesting after I jumped in. Say what?
And all that jazz.
Yes, very much that. And I'm like, again, speakeasy or club, like, you know, it's, or Jailhouse Tango.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, that is a good song.
Or Put It on the Ritz. That's another fun one.
Yes.
But it's definitely, like I said, it's been a journey. I think even for me, because before I owned a costume shop, costuming and stuff, and the concept of costuming, why drag queens wear 4-way stretch fabric, like all that kind of stuff, did not make sense. And then I started building costumes, and I was like, oh,
right,
got it. Or like adhesives, I'd be like, well, why don't you just use this? And then they're like, okay, you use that. And I'm like, okay, then. And then I'd use it, and I'd be like, oh. You know, why don't you just use super glue to put it on?
Right. Like, super glue.
Yeah, Gorilla Glue, like all that kind of stuff. But I mean,
oh well, Tacky, she uses that Gorilla Glue to put her jewels on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean her ears and stuff?
She had like rhinestones down here. Girl put a jewel, and she was like, "What are you using?" She's like, "Gorilla Glue, girl."
Did that not pull your skin off?
No, if you do it on the top of the makeup, it stays.
Yeah, she does.
It doesn't pull off your skin because the makeup has that little layer, but it still stays because it's necessary.
She said that she puts something down and she lets it dry.
Oh, that's to give herself a facelift.
Oh,
well,
what are you talking about?
We'll talk about that backstage. It's a drag secret, girl. You know how those are.
Hey, when I was a drag queen, I used to do those tape tricks and stuff, taping my face back.
God.
But I can tell you right now, I was so afraid I'd develop early wrinkles. I had to stop that stuff.
I bet.
I was talking about how when I fixed my hair for work, because yesterday I could only find one ponytail holder. So I did a little like flip bun kind of thing. And one of the girls at work was like, oh, I just do my mad bun in one. And I use this one. And I'm like, I pull my hair back in a ponytail and I pull it tight, girl. And it was like this. And I was like, because when you're my age, you need every help you can get. I said, that's why I start the day looking younger than I do when I end the day. Because by the time the day is, my face is
I tell people I'm growing to appreciate wigs more because I'm starting to get gray hair. And I'm not sure whether they're going to start trying to send me an AARP card or not. So I started wearing a lot more wigs. I'm like, they're going to see me on the street and be like, oh my gosh, we didn't put his name down? Man, we missed him. Like, hey, I'm not that old. I'm just graying early. But I hope that whenever I do start graying more, people will learn how to respect their elders.
Right?
We're going to be praying for that one.
So when I first started growing my hair out, we also met Shangela's because when they were taping, we were here in Branson. So we met Shangela and we met Eureka. We didn't really meet Bob. And I looked like Rosie O'Donnell in this picture. Shangela, she's short. And we're at the local bar and he's a boy at the time. And so I'm taking this picture and I'm like, I look like an old lesbian because my hair is naturally gray.
He did. I was like,
So
I know, honey, you don't.
I did. I look like Rosie O'Donnell.
Mm.
So I grew a beard out and dyed my hair brown.
Hey, you know, what's funny is because I wear a lot of platform shoes and stuff, and then I tend to wear bigger wigs, trying to get through the doors in my house are like terrible. And I was walking around today, I was like, oh, I'll wear my red and black pompadour, my big hair or whatever. And then I was walking through one of the doors, I was like, no. Especially once I thought I was late and we were supposed to start at 8. I'm sitting here running around. I'm like, I don't have time to pin a wig on. Just throw on my little finger wave wig and throw on my hat and we'll be good. And then I get on here and they're like,
I can imagine.
What's going on? I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm late. And they're like, honey, we don't start till 9. I was like, oh, woo.
Only if I would have known 30 minutes ago, bitches.
Were we supposed to pause for the commercials?
Oh, yeah, we do need to do a commercial.
Yeah, we're going to do a commercial, and then we're going to come back with an ending.
It's going to actually be a short commercial, though, because I'm not going to replay the Parafest commercial because it's
really
expired.
long.
I mean, Parafest is over.
Oh yeah. It is. It's like
he hasn't got us to commercial yet. So we're just going to do merch.
Yep, merch. We will be right back after these commercials.
It's only a 37-second commercial.
Oh, yeah. Life just got sweeter now that WLFE DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab and bam, there you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com.
Hey, and we are back with the ending because, oh my God, this was such an awesome show. It just flew by. I was like, I looked down. Are you freaking kidding me? It's already 9:50. We didn't even do a commercial.
What's inside the drag closet?
It's nothing now.
Nothing now. It was 4 queens talking about just all kinds of different drag stuff.
Aw.
And they went bye-bye. I don't know what happened.
We'll have to start something similar to that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, sure. We don't have any plans to see Jason later, but if we do, we'll give him a big hug for you.
Yes.
Do you want to? I can't give him a bye kiss, Chanel, because I'm gay.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, okay, big. I get it.
Oh.
He's important.
Now we know big. We just don't know why. All right. Well, thank you so very much, Ace of Hearts, for coming on, and I can't wait for next Thursday.
Lots of information to come out next week, and you guys will get to meet my partner.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Oh, me either. So in between now and then, I want you to be thinking about one thing, and that is, what is the one thing that you would like for him to know from your heart? And don't tell him what it is. And if he will do it too, that would be awesome, and not tell you what it is.
Okay.
That's my thing for next Thursday.
Perfect.
All right. I'll see you in a sec. I'm going to put you in the back room. Don't go
Much love, guys.
Much love.
Much love. And there you have it. Ace of Hearts. And oh my God, I told you he was fabulous. Well, I am going to go backstage and see if he'll grant me those 3 wishes. So,
Chanel said, no, kiss him, tongue him to death.
Oh God, no. Who?
Jason.
Oh, no. So, anyways, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next Thursday at 9 o'clock on WLFE-DB.com, or you can check it out on Everything Nothin, No J's Baby on Facebook page. You can also find me on T-Roy TV and T-Roy L. Shirley Vaughn. And,
Thank you for...
and I got it on my instruction. Ha ha ha. And you can also check me out on Tuesdays from 11 until 1 on KRBC Radio or Live 365 app. Download it, it's totally free, and you'll get to hear me and possibly see me.
Thank you for joining T-Roy and a special guest here on...
And by the way,
Oh my god.
so be a rainbow, honey, and please help somebody else be a rainbow too.
Can we go now?
Yes.
Thank you for joining T-Roy and a special guest here on Everythin Yet Nothin. Tune in next Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central for another episode you won't want to miss. Until next time, be a rainbow in someone's life. Like and follow us.